Life Audio.
Welcome to the Crosswalk Devotional. We're glad to have you listening. Today's topic is about being pushed aside for God's greater glory. We'll return with the devotional after a brief message from one of our sponsors.
At Thrivent, planning your finances is bigger than money. It's a way to support the people, causes, and community you love, because helping you put your faith into action is at the heart of what we do. Thrivent, where money means more. Connect with us at Thrivent.com.
Did you know that the Salvation Army produces podcasts in both English and Spanish? One of those shows, Heartbeat, is a 1-minute show about real life. This show comes out twice a week and touches on topics that affect everyday Christians, from finances and prayer life to dating, marriage, and mental health. Here's a clip from our latest episode.
The list goes on and on. It can be challenging to take a break from all the noise. And when you do stop, you get anxious, worrying you're going to miss something. What would your day look like if you intentionally took a break and unplugged? Instead of endless scrolling on your phone or tablet, you put it down and you take the time to settle into the peace of God's presence. Share what's on your heart and listen for what's on His. You may be surprised in what you hear.
Listen to the Salvation Army's Heartbeat wherever you get your podcasts or visit salvationarmysoundcast.org.
Pushed aside for God's greater glory. Written and read by Keri Eichberger. Romans 11, verse 36. For from Him, and through Him, and for Him are all things. To Him be the glory forever. Amen. I dealt with a disappointment alongside one of my teenage kids last night. And it wasn't the first time we'd mulled over a similar circumstance. And to be honest, I don't even need to mention which kid and what the exact situation was, because on most days, at least one of the few is confessing a struggle with feeling overlooked by a coach, teacher, fellow student, or even a good friend. And as you may very well know, it can be painful to walk through such insecure moments with a child or someone you love. We want so much for them to be seen for the genuine potential that we see. Bottom line, we hurt deeply when our people hurt. And what makes it hit even harder is that we also know exactly how it feels to feel slighted. How much it hurts when we appear to be underappreciated and pushed aside. You know this exact feeling, don't you? You've walked beside someone who has walked this rough road, and you yourself have had many first-hand accounts of the sting of rejection too. Maybe there's a situation in your midst at this very moment that seems unfair, and you're not quite receiving the treatment and attention you believe your intentions and efforts deserve. I'm there as I navigate my own sense of questioning why something I've poured into has been pushed aside, while others' seeming paralleled efforts are paying off. It wasn't until this morning that conversation opened about the disappointment with said child, allowing time for the ache of the wound to subside. But when the confession of exclusion finally surfaced this morning, I was ready to offer consoling words of apology for the letdown that must have been. And once I'd offered space for my comforts to sink in, I knew truth needed to be spoken to truly redeem some damage done. A truth I was not so coincidentally studying that prior morning about God's authority and good plan for the overlooked moments of our lives. A truth we all need to hold on to. While listening to a video teaching by Bible teacher Kelly Minter, she stated, "Don't mistake being passed over by a person for being passed over by God." Kelly was working through the book of Esther and recounting the story of Mordecai being honored for saving the king's life. But here's the thing. Mordecai had actually saved the king's life 2 years prior, without so much as a hint to his rescuer that entire duration. Can you imagine saving the literal life of a prominent person and no one noticing? I don't know about you, but saving someone's life doesn't even compare to the things I've felt overlooked for. But eventually, after 2 years of probably thinking he'd take his deed to the grave, the king was divinely informed and then celebrated and honored Mordecai in such an extravagant way that made the whole kingdom aware. You see, what may have seemed pushed aside and passed over was never actually passed over by God. He just had a bigger and better plan. The truth we need to take with us is this: God has ultimate authority always, and he is always interested in a redemption story that gives him the greatest glory. Intersecting faith and life. God's goal of glory tells me that when you, I, or someone we love feels slighted and overlooked, when maybe it doesn't even seem fair or deserved, there is purpose in each pain point in the process. Yes, in each less than ideal instance in our lives, God could have allowed a different scenario that may have been more pleasing to us in the moment. But the way whatever happened has happened is part of a perfect plan for the best outcome, for his good and more favorable outcome. For God's good reason, he has allowed things to go down just as they have. And I hope we can be encouraged today that this is actually a good thing. He sees what we don't. He sees the radical redemption in the works. He sees his glory that has already come and his glory that he is orchestrating that will continue to come. And the way he is writing the beginning and middle of each and every one of our stories is preparing the greatest ending for his greatest glory.
The Crosswalk Devotional is a production of Life Audio and Salem Media. If you liked what you heard today, please take a second to rate and review this podcast in your favorite podcast app so that more listeners like you can find the show. For more faith-filled, inspirational podcasts, visit us at lifeaudio.com.
What do you do when the world around you is falling apart? It's amazing to me how many people are breathing air. They're going about their business and doing the things you're supposed to do. But if you really ask them, they know that on the inside, they are spiritually and emotionally and relationally dead. If we're not careful, all of us can experience that death. When what we need to do, even as the world around us is falling apart, we need to learn how to march when it would be easier to stay where we are and die. Join me each week on the March or Die Show as we discuss that and so much more.